Australian Formula 4. Yes, the Australian Formula 4 Championship is back after a 5-year hiatus. The last race was here at the Ben Motorsport Park in 2019, so it's only fitting that it sees the return of the championship in 2024. Few new names, new chassis, new engine as well. There's lots of things to look forward to in this championship. Good field of youngsters, but also some older gentlemen as well in the Masters category. We're not too far away from getting the opening race of the weekend underway. As we can see, the cars are on the grid. There's been many stars come through already in its previous iteration. Red Bull Junior driver Liam Lawson, Thomas Randall, Will Brown, Zane Goddard even. There's been quite a number of names that have come through this category already in Australia. So great to have it back on our shores. Very much looking forward to seeing what race number 1 has to offer. But earlier on today, or yesterday in fact, I had a chat with AGI boss Adam Gotch and driver Nathan Gotch, and here's what they had to say about Formula 4 returning to Australia. Down here in the lane with the Gotches. Now they're pretty essential in this category at the moment. So Adam, talk us through everything that's been going on behind the scenes to make this possible, the revival of Australian Formula 4.
Yeah, look, we've been working on the return of Aussie F4 for at least 6 months now. We've been on the road since August last year. We did Asian F4, which then moved into the UAE F4, and it was a natural fit for us, for Australian F4 to return with the new Tatus car here. So here we are at the Bend, and we've got a 5-round championship this year, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have the category back. Got a good championship ahead, for you say, 5 rounds, finishing off in Malaysia.
Yeah, that's right. We'll finish off in Malaysia. The Ferrari Driver Academy will be a few weeks after that, and then we'll start Asian F4 at the same circuit, so it's a good fit for us.
Absolutely. And Nathan, you're one of the drivers this weekend. The cars, of course, they've changed since F4 was last here in Australia. Talk us through the difference in the car, the chassis, etc.
Yeah, so this one's a Tatus chassis, much closer to a Formula 3 car, to be honest. It's got a bit of a good floor on it. It's a very light car, floating disc brakes, which makes it a much better brake pedal. So feels very similar to F3, just a little bit down on the power. Awesome to drive. First time I've driven an Anger, first time at the Bend, and yeah, I'm just getting used to it, but it's really, really awesome bit of gear.
How do you think it'll be for racing, particularly around the Bend? 2 rounds at the Bend, the first 2 rounds. So yeah, how do you think the racing's going to be within the category?
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. The guys at the front are, within a second. The Masters classes are getting closer and closer now that we've done a few laps here. Big long straight, you can get a toe down there, so you can have some fun down into turn 1 for sure. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Just going back to you, Adam, a lot of cars that you're running this weekend must be pretty manic for you at times.
Yeah, we're running 7 cars across 2 teams, so there's a lot of moving parts involved, and but it's we've run 6 before, so we just add another one. So it's all good.
There, AGI Sport driver Jimmy Physick will start from pole position in this race. In recent times, he's gone overseas and raced in British Formula 4 and done so very successfully, taking a couple of wins over there. And that comes off the back of a successful stint in Formula Ford racing. So real open wheel pedigree is Jimmy Physick. He's certainly one to watch for in the championship this year. I had a quick chat to Jimmy just prior to qualifying, and this is what he had to say on all things Australian Formula 4. Down here with Jimmy Physick. He's formerly raced in Formula Ford, raced overseas in recent times. So back in Australia, mate.
Yeah, back in Australia. It's good being home. We did British F4 last year. Was in the UK all last year. Lots of experience learned over there. It was a very, very, very good year. Just back in Australia, back home, racing in the home soil.
Yeah, for you, very successful. Couple of wins over there on some legendary circuits. Must have been a really, really great experience, and must be taking that forwards into this championship.
Yeah, definitely it was a really good experience. Like, I learnt so much with my driving. Yeah, it's very, very phenomenal being over there. And yeah, the historical tracks over there are just, some of those tracks over there are ridiculous. Like, they're just, the tracks, and they're so skinny, then the balls are so close, and they're up and down, and they're really good tracks.
For you, being back here in this this machinery, you must be feeling pretty confident and really looking forward to a good season.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident with myself in the car. Fitness-wise as well, I'm feeling pretty good. But yeah, you never really know until you hit sort of quali where you're really at. So yeah, obviously I got a bit of confidence, but we never really know. I'm always going to still try work to be faster on track, regardless where I am.
For you, you know a few of the tracks that are coming up, but there is, of course, the round at the end of the season in Malaysia as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we got around Sepang. I've been there a couple of times, so yeah, it'll be interesting getting back over there and seeing what we can do, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, there's a bit of a prize on the line, isn't there, after the first 3 rounds? If you're in the top 5, you've got the opportunity to go in the Ferrari Academy camp. That must be something you're targeting.
Yeah, well, I don't really think that's our main focus for the season. I think the main focus of the season is going to be the championship and seeing what we can do with that.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, mate, and best of luck for the weekend and the rest of the season.
Perfect, thank you.
Pretty cool what he has achieved already in his young career, of course, racing in British F4, winning at Silverstone and Snetterton. Another young charger, the only female on the grid. Great to have females in the category. It's Joanne Ciconti, and she's really young. She actually had a round in a Formula 4 car earlier on in the year as part of the Formula Open series. So she's got a little bit of open-wheeler background. Prior to that, she'd only done karting, so a bit of a launch into the unknown for her this year, but she is certainly swimming. She's doing a fantastic job. Qualified comfortably inside the top 10, and I had a chat to Joanne yesterday. Down here with Joanne Ciconti. She's competing in Australian Formula 4 this weekend. How are you finding things so far?
Pretty good. The track is amazing. I love it. I love how it's technical in its own way. It's super fast. So I think I'm looking forward to this weekend.
You're pretty young from what I understand. How old are you, and when did you first get into motor racing?
I'm 15 and I'm turning 16 this year, and I've been doing go-karting for 5 years, and this year I've started on Formula.
You had a go earlier in the year at Sandown, didn't you? Is that sort of getting yourself ready for this weekend and the coming rounds?
Yeah, so Sandown was my first official race in a Formula. That was great to get a race underneath my belt, but yeah, I'm looking forward to do more races.
And yeah, looking ahead, what are your goals, your targets, not just this year but beyond? Where do you want to go?
So this year I'm just looking forward to gaining experience, and hopefully I can reach my dream goal, which is joining the F1 Academy.
Absolutely, of course, there is a bit of a prize on the line, isn't there? The Ferrari Academy, if you're in the top 5 after the first 3 rounds, that must be something you're targeting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hope to really show the world that females can race too.
Thanks very much, and best of luck for the weekend.
Thank you, see yous.
Future star, that is for sure, and she's setting her sights on a international career with Formula Academy, of course, the all-women series that now follows Formula 1 around the world, and is actually at Miami this weekend as a support category over in the United States of America. So that's where she has set her sights, and there will be nothing stopping her. This will get her name on the map, that is for certain. So this is what we have ahead of us, round 1 of the Australian Formula 4 Championship, 25 minutes plus 1 lap around the Shell V-Power Motorsports Park. This is set to be a good race as we see the cars head off on the formation lap. And this is where we are located. I was just talking about it, the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, just a few minutes drive, or just a couple of minutes drive from Tailem Bend town. 18 turns, lots of action zones around this venue. The really long straight, nearly 1 kilometre in length as you blast down towards turn number 1. It's pretty wide, turn number 1, but you've got to really decelerate the machine after such a long straight. Real good overtaking opportunity. So is this one. Turn number 6. We've seen plenty of incidents and accidents down here over the year, but another great overtaking opportunity. It's generally pretty single file around this fast section. 7, 8, 9, 10, the fast right-handers through 11 and 12. We've seen a couple of moves at this corner. Turn number 13, the crest. It's so hard, that corner. You don't know where the exit of the corner is. You've got to run right outside and trust that the curb is still there. Rounds 15, 16, into 17. We've seen incidents in supercars even down here. Scott McLaughlin and Jamie Whincup coming to blows of note several years ago. And then the extremely tricky turn number 18 as well. Here, so we are 4.95 kilometres in length, track record set by an F3 car, John Magro behind the wheel back in 2019. I am Dan McCarthy. Alongside me is Mark Nancaro. Mark, here is the grid in front of us. I'll just talk us through that. So it's Jimmy Physick from pole position alongside South Australian Blake Purdy, who's recently come out of S5000, so stepping in to another open wheel series. They'll start ahead of Nicholas Stati and the rookie in Seth Gilmore. Beyond that, another South Australian, Sebastian Amadio, comes out of 5th. Mark Ross had an incident in practice yesterday, but a great recovery to qualify in 6th position and top Masters driver ahead of John Paul Drake, a familiar name to many, and Joanne Giconte in 8th position, who we heard from just moments ago. Beyond that, Nathan Gotch in the number 66 machine, driving for Formula Race Academy. Then we've got Nick Filippetto, and then Mark Wilson, who had an accident in the early morning practice session and unfortunately didn't set a lap time for this opening qualifying session. He did compete in the second qualifying session, which sets the grid for tomorrow's final race. But unfortunately we'll start off the back for this one. So 5 Masters cars, 6 in the outright competition, and a couple of rookies in there as well. So as I say, I'm Dan McCarthy. Alongside me is Mark Nancaro. We've been looking forward to this one, haven't we?
Yeah, we certainly have, and they're on the grid and ready to roll here.
Formula One style, they've each got a row to themselves, so that should give the number 93 of Physick a good few metres advantage on the blast down the long straight and into turn number 1.
There's right, we're away, and welcome back. Formula 4 is back, and we're away.
Stall further
We've got
back.
a stall car somewhere. I think that might have been Mark Rosser.
No, it's John Paul Drake in the red machine at the tail. And it's going to be Physick that leads them into turn number 1. Purdy is being attacked from Stati, but holds him off at turn number 1, 24. That's Gilmore in 4th position and Amadio in 5th. So the top 5 are as they were away from the line. The big loser, though, from 6th position, Mark Rosser. He has got it away from the line, but he has dropped from 6th to stone motherless last and quite a bit behind. Oh, Amadio looking for a big send up the inside into turn number 6. He had a good look there, but thought he was a bit too far back on that particular occasion.
Got Seth Gilmore just in front of him there. So currently in the early stages, for the 5th position on track there. No problems about Physick. He jumped the start beautifully in that staggered grid that we often see, or we do see in Formula One racing. And gee, don't they sound fantastic? Isn't it? That's a great sound.
It is.
It's coming over the broadcast loud and clear.
A new sound, of course, new engines in these. So previously it was the Magale chassis, but now we've moved on to the Tata chassis with a complete different engine. I'll come on to that because Mark Rosser is making his way back through the field and he's on the tail of Wilson. Somebody's gone off 4 wheels through the grass a bit further forwards. Not quite sure who that was, but he's made the place. Has Rosser, so despite making a poor start, quick recovery from him. He's made up several places, but this is the battle on the track at the moment. We've got Stati, we've got Gilmore, and then we've got Amadio as well. This is the fight for 3rd position at the end of lap number 1. The subtle difference, the blue halo, the light blue halo for Stati and the normal, darker AGI blue halo for Gilmore behind. As he looks to the inside, does the rookie. Stati defends that off very nicely. And it's as they were on the pit straight. Amadio, though, now showing his nose. Can he have a look at turn number 3? There's a couple of lines at turn number 3. He can take it a bit wider and look for a late apex, so he can just go around the bottom of the bowl. There's a few different racing lines, particularly in the wet conditions. Is that smoke from the back of the number 15 machine? Just a couple of puffs. Seems to have dispersed now. But Gilmore is certainly looking, the rookie, on the tail of the number 15 machine. He's looking confident around the Ben Motorsport Park early in this race with 1 lap down. There's plenty of racing still to go in this one, that is for certain. So on the left-hand side of the screens, the black machines are effectively the outright cars. There's definitely smoke coming from that car, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the smoke coming from the rear of that car. I thought it was just on the brakes, but I think it might be a bit more significant than that. It looks a bit bluer than that. So we'll have a look in just a moment. That's coming from the Stati car.
Doesn't seem to be affecting any performance at all.
No, just keep a close eye on that. Well, there it is again. And he's actually gone out into the grass. Oh, that really did unsettle that race car and has given Gilmore a massive look in there too. And you can see the dirt down the side of that race car. So he's made a significant off-track excursion there. In fact, there's something wrong with the front wheel of that car. I was just looking at the front toe of that car. It looks like it's cambered out quite a bit.
Does look pretty significant, doesn't it, compared to the car behind anyway.
He's bent something there over that curving. I'm not too sure. Have a look at the front on shot. Oh, it's got a massive camber on the front right-hand side of that car. Well, that's the setup, I'm not sure, but it's a lot different than the other side.
They come across the line to complete lap number 2, and John Paul Drake is catching up as well in this battle, the leading Masters driver out there on the racetrack at the moment. Here's a replay of the mistake from Staddy. Turns in just understeer. Oh, no, kick of oversteer mid-corner. Put him wide, put him in the kitty lit up, and Gilmore unlucky not to capitalise, unfortunately, on the wrong side of the track for what is turn number 14, and couldn't make that move, couldn't capitalise on the mistake from the number 15 ahead. But these two cars beginning to chip away now from Sebastian Amadio, another name that's come from S5000. So both Blake Purdy and Sebastian Amadio jumping out of the V8 powered S5000s into these Formula 4 cars, and they've both taken to it pretty quickly.
Certainly have. So Pizik still our race leader. That's the next group that's behind him. That's Staddy, Gilmore, Amadio. So they currently, there's cars on screen there, positions 3, 4 and 5th position. So whatever the problem was that Staddy had earlier has sorted itself out, and I haven't seen any more of that smoke either, so no issues there. Heading up towards the little rise there at turn 16. Quite often you'll see cars get their wheels up on the curbing there on the inside, especially in this style of car. Nice close apex of that section. And there's tricky turn 17. Looks easy, but it's not as easy as it looks. It certainly goes downhill very quickly after the apex there.
It's a lot tighter than a simple 90-degree right-hander, isn't it? And there's a bit of elevation in there as well. It's a really tricky corner, very, very deceiving. Jimmy Physick crossing the line, fastest lap of the race, as we can see at the bottom of the screen. A 150.3, 2/10 faster than Purdy that time through, extending the lead margin out to 1.7 seconds. And then a huge gap back to this train of 4. 9 seconds to this train. Stati, Gilmore, Amadio and Drake. And then beyond that, we have Ciconti. Ross has recovered up to 8th ahead of Filippetto. Nathan Gott rounding out the top 10, and Wilson rounding out the field in this opening encounter. As you see, Amadio sliding out sideways on the exit of the corner there. Any sort of sliding in these cars, it's going to cost you momentum all the way around the next sequence of corners, because it's all about keeping up the speed, and because of the aero downforce that's on these Formula 4 machines.
On track there's Seb Amadio, as you mentioned before, stepped back from the Super 5000 series, which is unfortunately no longer anymore. So he'll step into another Formula car for this series. 15 on track, there's Nicholas Stati there. He's actually got away from the pair behind him now, who were right up behind him, so he's starting to lengthen that gap. There's the 77 car there of Filippetto. That's a bit further back. They've got Nathan Gotch behind him. That's a 66 car by the looks of things.
So this is for the final spot on the podium in the Masters class. So this is for like the elder statesman, I suppose you'd call it, like the AM class in Carrera Cup, effectively is what we have in Formula 4 since it's been revived, and good to see a good field of Masters machines. So if we look to timing on the left, the black machines are effectively the outright cars. Rookies, the rookies have never driven open wheel machines. They are the red ones, and then the blue ones are the Masters. So that's what we're looking at the moment. 9th and 10th, third position in the Masters class. And I reckon Rosser might be just chipping away at Ciconti. Well, they're pretty much even. 2/10, in fact, it was Ciconti first that time through. This is definitely the closest battle on the racetrack at this point in time. Already 8 minutes has elapsed. It's flown by. It's been an entertaining start to proceedings in this race. And it's the number 77 holding on to 9th at the moment. Gotch is looking strong. Interesting chatting to Gotch. You saw that interview of myself and the Gotches that I did with them yesterday, and they were saying this is a lot closer to a Formula 3 car than what the Miguel chassis was that we saw in Formula 4 several years ago. These cars quite a lot faster. Oh, there was smoke coming from the car ahead of Rosser Ciconti. It was. Oh, no, I don't think it is. Yeah, it is the number 89 Ciconti. I doubted myself for a second. She has looped it around the fast right-handers.
Kept it running, which is good.
Very good news for the young lady. 15 years old. Can you believe that, Mark? 15.
Driving a Formula 4 car.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
That's getting your early dreams in there.
And Nicholas Stati's 15 as well. So two 15-year-olds right up the front of this field. Oh, here we go. Change of position potentially. But Filippetto just about holding on in this scrap for now. What is 9th position, of course, because our female racer, Ciconti, has dropped back a couple of positions in the number 89 machine as they round the final corner to complete lap number 5 already. Oh no, yeah. Mark Rosser is off at the final corner. What's happened to the South Australian?
This will be safety car because he's got himself tangled up in the kitty litter there, so hang on.
Or has he? He's just spinning the wheels in the grass, I think. I don't think he's in the kitty litter, but he's come to a stop on the grass. Oh, that's tight. That's really tight down into the braking zone. Gotch tried to move around the outside there to have the inside of turn number 2. That's not going to work in these machines, so had to slot back in behind. But a good scrap there. The question is, has Rosser been able to get it out of the grass? So we should explain, it wasn't wet overnight, but it was extremely cold, really foggy when we got here first thing this morning, and the grass is very dewy, isn't it? Very moist offline, and with such low ride heights in these Formula 4 cars, I think from what Rosser was doing there, just spinning the wheels.
Haven't seen that car return to track yet.
No, hasn't crossed the line.
I can't see any full course yellow, so it looks like there he is. Where is he? And
we've got safety car.
Looking too active in that car, so I would suggest that there we go. There goes the yellow now, so we can't leave him there. That's on the exit of turn 18 there. That's the big runoff down there on the final turn, so they'll need a recovery vehicle down there to attach the strap and pull him out of harm's way.
Absolutely. Here's a replay. Look at the top of the shot. You might be able to see Rosser there. Oh, no, somebody else running wide. That's not Rosser, but apparently Rosser is still to come and he'll run off himself.
Let's have a look here. He's behind those other cars.
Wait for it.
There we go. He's gone in
360 spin.
Gone in for a big spin there.
And then I think stalled the car, and then upon refiring, he's just spinning the wheels.
He's probably lucky he didn't go in a bit deeper there.
Yeah.
So he's just on the edge of the gravel trap there, but obviously that car now will need to be recovered. This will bring the safety car out, and all those gaps will now disappear, and the lead car will now come back to the rest of the field. Here we've, what are we on now? We've done 6 laps, we're on our 7th lap.
It's almost a mid-race pause, isn't it? 12 minutes down, 13 to go. It's a bit of a footy orange break at half-time. So we close the field up. A competition caution, they'd call it in America, wouldn't they? But it hasn't been a deliberate competition caution, that's for sure. Mark Rosser was not intending to do that. But 2 seconds the margin was at the time of that safety car. So Physic from Purdy, Stati in third, then Gilmore, a top rookie, Amadio in fifth. Masters leader Drake was actually going with Stati, Gilmore and Amadio, doing a great job. He had a 20-second lead over his nearest Masters competitor in Filippetto. There's another angle.
There's another shot of it, just a spin and just dropped the rear in the gravel there. And that's probably what's caught him out. So you see there will be an attempt here to try and drive out, but
to no avail.
No avail at all. The good thing about this is he's really close to the pit lane there, so the recovery vehicle is also very close, so they'll be able to get him out of harm's way and push him in down the pit lane very quickly here.
It's good news for Chiconte as well. She had that spin, of course, at turn number 10, I believe it is, down there at the bottom end of the course. She dropped a couple of places behind Filippetto and Gotch. So this is a good reset for her, brings her back into contention. She had a bit more speed than those two cars ahead, so it allows her to potentially get them in the closing laps of this motor race. This is a familiar position for James Physic, Jimmy Physic, as he likes to be known, as we say, taking race victories not only in Australian Formula Ford, but internationally as well in British Formula 4. Still, Silverstone and Snetterton, two iconic British circuits to take wins on. Really shows the high calibre driver that man is.
There's Matt Avery there, one of our officials, waving the flag down there. He's got the long mullet down there, and good to have him on board here this weekend. Yeah, Matt, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but he's one of our long-time Sam Rower officials. And we do thank him. He might have one of the late ones that were screaming out for officials here during the week because they were very short on. So we do thank officials and volunteers that are here for the weekend, because we could have been in a little bit of trouble during the week unless a few people stuck their hands up. So we're good to have them on board here this weekend. And they're all busy at the moment because they're now all waving yellow flags. So they're being keeping their arms in motion.
While the action's been temporarily paused, I'll just talk you through essentially this category. So if you didn't watch Formula 4 in its previous iteration, this is essentially the local step before going overseas to European Formula 3, and then beyond that, of course, the FIA World Formula 3 Championship, then Formula 2 and Formula 1. So it's a national level step before you head overseas to Formula 3. It's been revived thanks to Top Speed. Top Speed runs Formula 4 in the United Arab Emirates and also in Southeast Asia as well. And I believe it's these Southeast Asia cars, their championship finished. It ran over our summer, and it's actually these cars that have been shipped over here to make this championship possible. So really good thinking from those guys at Top Speed, and yeah, we've got to thank them for bringing this championship back. Had a chat with the guys at Top Speed earlier on today, and that'll be on the coverage tomorrow. A bit more about how it all came about and everything. A really interesting chat, but great to see. The safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. If you're enjoying what you're seeing at the Bend, Formula 4 action, Formula 4 round number 2 is here as well when the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia Series comes back to the Bend in June, and then following that round 3 at Queensland Raceway, round 4 at Sydney Motorsport Park, and then they finish their championship in Malaysia, round 5 at the Sepang International Circuit, the former Formula 1 circuit. And Mark Ross has driven a few Formula 1 cars. You might be wondering why he's got Benetton overalls on. He does own a Benetton Formula 1 car. That's pretty cool to have in your garage, I'm sure, but he won't be thinking about that right now. Very disappointed, Mark, getting out of the machine. Of course, his race coming to an early end, but it's interesting that they couldn't get the car refired in the pits or anything. I just expected that to rejoin the track and recatch the back of the train.
Obviously, a few more issues there than what we thought. So, safety car will be coming in. Like I said, just a short recovery there. You can see how far they had to go, just the other side of the tyre barrier just to bring that car in. So they didn't have to go very far.
No.
It was quite a short recovery. So Pissick comes back to the field here, and 2 South Australian drivers too that are locally based that'll be leading the field around. Blake Purdy, another one of those in the Nippies sponsored entry. That's a sponsorship that he's carried throughout his, well, not long career. He hasn't been in racing all that long, but
No, still a youngster.
It's still good to see he's still supporting that young driver, local company here. So Pissick to bring them around, back and left and right, left and right. That's just to keep the tyres warm and don't let the tyres go too cold. Conditions are, you actually feel the temperatures slightly drop here as well. We know once we get the later part of the afternoon at this time of the year that, especially in this area, it gets quite chilly quickly, so and that doesn't do tyres much good either. They also chill off pretty quickly.
Certainly do, and that's why they're weaving so vigorously. Safety car has pulled away. Lights are off. Physick is at the head of the field. So Physick, Purdy, Statty, Gilmore, Amadio, the top 5. John Paul Drake rounding out the 6 that we can see in that very camera shot. So here we go. When is Physick going to go? If you go too early, you might potentially allow Purdy to get a draft before turn number 1. I'd be waiting as late as possible in these open wheel machines, but I'm not a racing driver. I'm just a commentator. That's why I'm in here alongside you, Mark. What is Jimmy Physick going to do? They exit the final corner. I think he is going to do what I say. There we go.
He's going to back them right up here.
And he's gone.
And he's going to be on his terms. And then away he goes.
Weaving down the straight, trying to break the toe of Purdy. But Purdy's right there. Will he have a lunge into turn number 1? No, because Physick defends further back, though there's a move. That's Filippetto, I think, or even Gotch up the inside of John Paul Drake. Here comes Purdy.
No, he's just tucked in behind, trying to get up on the inside there. Physick too much pace there, down through turns 2 and 3.
Yep,
They come out of that section now. So they head down towards the hairpin. This is probably a fairly good passing opportunity here, and right on cue. Oh, he gets up on the inside there, Purdy. Under brakes to the hairpin.
A big lunge, really gave it his all, but Physick holds on around the outside. Physick saw it coming, left him just about a car width, enough for Purdy to fill that gap. Great racecraft between those two, but the poor exit from Purdy taking that line has allowed Physick to pull away. Who is that? It's one of the, it's Gotch apparently.
That's Nathan Gotch.
Yeah.
There's Nathan Gotch, that's the 66. That's the old black car. It was near the rear of the field, and I would suggest this might be a full course yellow here. Looks like there's some debris that's come off that race car too, so that's had some contact somewhere by the looks of things just in that short shot.
And we have gone safety car, so that's a real shame with 5 minutes to go. Hopefully another quick recovery and we can get back underway. But as you say, a bit of debris down there. He was riding that Drake, Filippetto, and it was him, Gotch, the 3 that was sort of 3 wide going into turn number 1. That's turn 3, I think, isn't it?
Looks like it. I'm just looking at the debris on the road. That looks like a bit of curving or a bit of concrete.
Oh, you could be right.
It doesn't look like any carbon fibre or any steel off the car. Just looking at the colour of that, so there's been some contact, heavy contact. It almost looks like with the curving, or I'm not too sure what's happened there. But so I don't know if we've got any replays of that, but it's an unusual spot to be too. He's facing. Where is he at the moment?
He's inside of turn
1.
Yeah. On the run to turn number 2, so he's facing the cars going down pit straight right now. I think there's a bit of front wing missing as well. I don't think that looks quite right from the angle we were at.
Here we go. There it is. It's on the other side of turn 1 on the inside.
And does it look a bit low on the left rear as well? I think compared to the right, could be wrong.
Might have broken some of the wishbone suspension there. The car is definitely laying over to the left-hand side.
Definitely.
I don't know that's the way it's sitting in the grass, but don't know how he's ended up there. It looks like the cars have gone on the inside of him there, just to give me an indication of where that car is actually parked up on the track. Looks like it's more so in the middle of the track. So you can see a recovery vehicle heading out in that direction. I'd love to see a replay to see what happened there, but I don't know if we got any footage of that. It's just an unusual spot to be. So they've just been confirmed that he didn't get any coverage of that, but
anyway, we see Physick leading the pack once again, warming up the tyres. It is quickly getting cooler in here. You can see not too much UV on the race circuit anymore. It's pretty shaded. It's been overcast at times today, but for a majority, it's been sunny. We've been pretty spoilt, but now the sun has gone behind the clouds, and we await a restart. So,
well, the problem is we've only got 2.5 minutes left in this race, and there's a strong possibility that this may finish under the safety car, unfortunately, depending on, well, the recovery is not that close to the main complex, so this may take a little bit longer than the previous recovery. So I would probably suggest that this is probably the way it's going to finish.
These machines, as I said before, the Miguel was in Australia previously. This is now the Tatus F4 chassis, the Gen 2 chassis, the T421 chassis. It's raced a majority now of Formula 4 championships around the world, in Asia and Europe. So a very, very popular race car. So we await a restart. Cars weaving away, trying to get grip into those tyres. We haven't mentioned the driver in third position. Statty himself has Formula 4 experience. We've mentioned the guy in the lead, but Statty himself, there he is. He's been very fast overseas and taken victories in the Middle East Championship. So watch out for him on a restart. He's used to packed fields. He races in the UAE Championship as well, where they have over 40 cars. Quite remarkable. So he's used to action-packed racing, is Statty. Watch for him potentially on this restart. But we are going back to green. A quick recovery. Great job from the volunteer marshals and officials. And it means we're going to go back to green for a 1 or potentially 2 lap shootout to finish this opening race of the weekend for Formula 4. I'm hearing, as long as we get to the line before that clock runs out, it will be 2 laps. So it's the time plus 1 lap. When's Physic going to go? Does he go at the same point, or is that going to be a bit too predictable? Does he go maybe on the exit of the corner instead this time? The flag has gone green. It is now up to the race leader at the head of the field. He's gone early this time, put the pedal to the metal before the final corner, and now he's going to do the snake maneuver once again, to the inside, to the outside, and he will go back to the inside again just to try and break the slipstream from behind. There's a phenomenal slipstream in these machines. Look at them, all of them snaking in a straight line. Amadio is having a look up the inside of Gilmore. He's not close enough, that's for sure, on that occasion. Bit of a tail-happy moment as well on the exit of the corner. Time is now lapsed, so yes, this is the penultimate lap of the race. It's all to play for, as we can see them swing around the left-hander, the fast turn number 5. So tricky, so deceivingly fast, and it almost tightens the more you go around the turn. These youngsters up the front of the field have really driven well in this race. Although John Paul Drake would like to show some of these youngsters how it's done. And he's actually catching up to Amadio down the back section of the course. Really good racing from John Paul Drake. He's a busy man, not only running Drake supermarkets here in South Australia, but racing as well in, yes, a prototype series, the national prototype series. And why don't you throw in a bit of Australian Formula 4 action, as if you're not doing enough there,
it's
John.
Interesting to know he's stuck with the same livery as his prototype car.
Yes.
He's got the same green ha-has all written all over like the Joker car.
He does. Purdy's going with Physic here. Purdy is going with Physic on this restart, but he only has just over 5 kilometres. If he wants to make a difference, he has got to do it soon. Purdy, the white machine, is really closing in. This could be on the final lap of the race. Or Physic, a bit of a catch there as well, mid-corner. So he'll have a bit of a compromise run. Pretty dirty there from the recovered Rosser car as well. You don't want to run out too wide, or else you'll be going through the grass and the gravel, because it's pretty dirty on the racing line there. But a interesting restart lap there. Physic only 2/10 faster than Purdy, and only 6/10 faster than Statty. So the top 3 have really pulled away from the rest of the field as we look at Chiconte, who has got past a couple of competitors on the last couple of restarts, so she's moved back up to 7th position. Great work from her. I said that she had a potential to do that with the restarts, and she has done that. So a good recovery from Joanne in her first Formula 4 race, sitting in position number 7. 5-second penalty has just appeared on the screen for Stati. So 5-second penalty will demote that machine not only from 3rd but 4th as well, and will fall all the way down to position number 6, even behind John Paul Drake. So Stati will be giving it absolutely everything in these final corners. We'll get confirmation on what that 5-second penalty is for, but there is no doubt about it. 5-second penalty for Stati will demote him badly. And importantly as well, the finishing position of this race determines the grid for the first race tomorrow morning as well. So it's not just going to give him a clip around the ear holes in this one, it's going to give him a poor starting position for tomorrow's race as well. Purdy's thrown everything at it on this lap. He's been sideways around quite a few corners, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Jimmy Physick is going to do enough on the return of Australian Formula 4. Jimmy Physick, on his return to Australia, comes around the final corner and takes the win. A great drive, did not put a foot wrong. Takes the win by pretty much bang on 1 second from the car behind Blake Purdy. Stati sets a PB on the final lap of the race, 51.3, but it's going to still see him fall a couple of positions behind Gilmore and Amadio.
There's your
There it
penalty
is.
there for the starting infringement there for car 15, so he's jumped the start.
He has, or something, whether that be on a restart or the initial start. Not quite sure, but some sort of starting infringement. The good news for him is that last lap meant that he does beat John Paul Drake. Just hearing in my ears from Shane, who does a great job in the blend line van, he's saying that apparently he was moving before the lights went out, so he was creeping, and that's a big no-no motorsport.
It certainly is. It'll get you a penalty every single time. So that's the end of race 1 there for Formula 4 Australia. We'll get the right formula out in a moment. It's been a long afternoon. Here we go. So as you mentioned, Jimmy Physick on top there. Oh, there we go. The screen's disappeared. But it will be Physick from Blake Purdy. Good to see a couple of South Australian drivers there at the top of the order.
We're pretty proud, aren't we, with that one? Stati coming home in position number 3, ahead of Seth Gilmore, winning the rookie class in that one. Beyond that, Sebastian Amadio coming home in 5th, ahead of John Paul Drake. Oh, sorry, Stati, sorry. Gilmore's 3rd. So Stati will fall from 3rd to 6th, promoting Gilmore to 3rd, Sebastian Amadio to 4th. Stati will slot into 5th position, just ahead of John Paul Drake. Then we've got Joan Ciconti in 7th, Nick Filippetto in 8th, and then beyond that, the final finisher, Mark Wilson, staying out of trouble in position number 9, while both Nathan Gotch and Mark Rosser found themselves stuck out there on the racetrack. Pretty eventful opening race for Formula 4's return.
Yeah, it was a little bit eventful, but not too eventful. Been a pretty good race there towards the end. And that'll finish up race 1. And we haven't finished the afternoon yet, because when we come back, we've got our endurance event for our mark cars, and some invited production cars also involved in that field as well. And
yeah, if you're watching on the Australian Formula 4 stream and you want to continue watching the action from the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, turn over to the Blendline TV live stream to continue watching today's racing action. But what a great start to proceedings for Australian Formula 4.